It started with curiosity. The Varons, a peaceful and advanced alien species, had studied thousands of worlds. They believed they understood every kind of life. To them, humans were just another primitive race, violent, emotional, and fragile. But what they didn't understand was what made humans truly dangerous. A small alien research ship entered Earth's orbit in silence. Invisible to human eyes, it scanned everything: the cities, the forests, the oceans. One signal caught their attention: a hidden military base deep in the mountains. Strange energy readings came from there. The aliens decided to take a closer look. Commander Zell, leader of the mission, stood tall in the control room. His skin was smooth and gray, and his voice calm. "Send a drone. Observe quietly. Do not engage. The species is unstable." The drone, small and silent, flew through the base at night. Soldiers moved below, unaware. One of them, a young man named Corporal Jensen, was walking alone after a training session. He tripped over something sharp and fell. His leg was bleeding badly. The drone zoomed in, expecting panic, maybe fear. But Jensen didn't scream. He looked at his leg, growled in frustration, and punched the ground. "Not again, damn it." He tore off his shirt, tied it around the wound, and stood up. His face was red with anger, not pain. The drone watched as something strange happened. The wound began closing. Fast. Too fast. New skin started forming over the torn flesh. Back on the ship, the alien scientists were shocked. "He is healing, without aid." "How?" "Impossible. Their medical files show slow recovery." "It's not medicine," Commander Zell said. "It's something else." The aliens had seen healing before. But this wasn't natural. The human's blood had chemicals they didn't recognize: high adrenaline, emotional spikes, strange brain signals. The body wasn't healing for survival. It was reacting to rage. The next night, the aliens made a mistake. They captured another human, a soldier named Maria Vasquez. She was unconscious when they brought her aboard. She woke up inside a clear glass chamber. The room was white, the air cold, and the alien faces calm. "Do not be afraid," one of them said through a speaker. "We only wish to study." Maria looked around, her eyes sharp. "Where the hell am I?" They didn't answer. A mechanical arm came down from the ceiling and made a small cut on her arm. Blood dripped. The aliens waited to see the healing process again, but Maria didn't cry or ask for help. She smiled. "You freaks think this is pain?" she whispered. "You have no idea what pain is." Her heart rate spiked, muscles tightened. Her skin around the wound bubbled, and then closed. New flesh formed, even stronger than before. The alien stared in fear. She regenerated. No, she rebuilt. Why would pain make them stronger? One asked. Commander Zell looked at the data and spoke quietly. "This species is not designed to survive. It is designed to overcome." Suddenly, Maria slammed her fists against the glass. Cracks formed. Her eyes glowed with something the aliens couldn't understand. Not fear. Not confusion. Pure anger. With one final hit, the glass shattered. Alarms rang. Lights turned red. The humans weren't supposed to do this. They weren't supposed to escape, but Maria did. She ran through the halls, bleeding and laughing. She didn't care about being shot at. Her wounds closed faster than the weapons could harm her. "They took me on the wrong day," she muttered. "I was already pissed off." The aliens tried to trap her, but she fought like an animal. One scientist shouted, "She's changing. The more damage we do, the more powerful she becomes." Commander Zell finally ordered, "Let her go. Evacuate the base. We have angered something we do not understand." Maria reached the airlock. A drone tried to stop her. She grabbed it and crushed it with her bare hands. "Tell your people," she said to the cameras. "Don't touch us again." She jumped out The emergency pod launched her back toward Earth. Silence filled the ship. One scientist, shaking, turned to Zell. "What are they?" Zell didn't answer for a long time. Then he said, "We thought they were soft because they bleed. But they don't fear pain. They use it. They grow from it." He looked at the Earth on the screen. "They don't heal wounds. They get angry. And become stronger." Down below, Maria landed safely. Her body was covered in new scars, but her eyes burned brighter than ever. Earth was not a planet of victims. It was a planet of survivors. The aliens had come looking for knowledge. What they found was a warning. Asterisk, the Vayrons had made a terrible mistake. After the failed containment of Maria Vasquez, panic spread through the alien research network. The Council of Higher Study ordered all field research to stop immediately, but not everyone followed that command. Some scientists believed that they were close to unlocking the most powerful secret in the galaxy, the reason why humans didn't just survive wounds. They responded to them. A secret lab was set up on a distant moon called Tersa 9. It was cold, quiet, and away from the eyes of the alien council. A new human subject was chosen, someone stronger, someone dangerous. His name was Sergeant Cole Ward. He had been captured from a war zone in Eastern Europe after taking a blast that should have killed him. When the aliens picked him up, he had broken ribs, burns, and half of his face bleeding. But still, he was breathing. Barely. They brought him to Tersa 9 for a controlled test. When Cole woke up, he was strapped to a metal table. The room was white, just like Maria's had been. But this time, the aliens were ready. A thick energy barrier surrounded him. 10 armed guards stood outside the chamber. Commander Kelrix, younger and more ambitious than Zell, stepped forward. "Begin observation. Start with minor tissue damage." A needle lowered and pierced Cole's arm. His eyes opened slowly. "Where the hell am I?" he growled. He looked at the aliens. Cold faces, no answers. The pain in his arm didn't make him scream. It made him angry. His heartbeat started to rise. The machine beeped faster. Cole began pulling at the metal restraints. His muscles tensed. The healing process began. Not slow, not natural, but furious. The wound began to close within seconds, and the skin around it grew thicker. "Impossible," said one alien scientist. "He's producing more muscle tissue, not just healing." "Continue the test," Kelrix ordered. A robotic blade came down, slicing across Cole's chest. He didn't flinch. He grinned. Double quotes. "Oh, now you've done it," he whispered. Blood ran down his body, and then stopped. The skin sealed shut, like clay filling a crack. The machines monitoring his body began malfunctioning. His blood chemistry was off the charts. "He's not healing. He's transforming," a scientist gasped. "Into what?" Kelrix asked. As they watched, Cole's bones cracked and reset stronger. Veins glowed slightly red. His body was adapting to pain, using it like fuel. His rage wasn't just emotional. It was biological. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Cole looked up at the nearest camera and said something no one expected. "You think you're studying me, but I'm watching you now." He slammed his fists into the table. The restraints bent. Not broke, bent. The material was designed to hold creatures 10 times his size. The guards outside moved forward, weapons raised. "Do not engage." Kelrix shouted. "He's not trying to escape, he's evolving." Inside the chamber, Cole laughed. "You want to see how humans heal? You're looking at it wrong. We don't just grow new skin. We grow new purpose." The room's temperature dropped. And then something worse happened. Cole started crying, not out of fear, but out of rage. His mind went back to Earth, the war, his dead comrades, the pain of watching his family bombed in front of him. You don't know what it's like to lose everything and still stand up. The sensors beeped again. Not just rage now, spite. sorrow, vengeance. The aliens couldn't understand. How can emotion make a body stronger? End the experiment. Kelrick screamed, but it was too late. Cole roared, a deep, earth-shaking sound, and pulled his arms. Free. Metal snapped. The energy shield failed. A guard fired. The blast hit Cole directly in the chest. Everyone held their breath. Cole didn't fall. He looked down, touched the burning hole in his skin, and grinned. Good, he said. Now I'm mad. The hole in his chest closed while he stood there. His body glowed with steam. His eyes were filled with madness and strength. He leaped forward, broke the glass, and landed among the guards. They fired again and again. It didn't matter. He didn't stop. Each shot only made him faster. Each hit made him stronger. He wasn't a man anymore. He was a storm. Alien after alien fell. Kelrick's escaped with a few scientists sealing the doors behind him. They watched from the upper level as Cole destroyed everything. No species should be able to do this. One whispered. We woke up something old, another said. Something buried inside humans. Kelrick's voice trembled. We thought pain made them weak, but for them pain is purpose. Suddenly, Cole stopped. He stood in the middle of the burning lab, breathing hard. He looked up, found the camera, and said, You took me from my home. Hurt me, tested me. Now listen closely. I'm coming for all of you. Then, he vanished into the fire. Back at the Alien Council, a message from Tersanine arrived. It was short, broken, and full of static. Only 2 words were clear. Experiment. Failed. Commander Zell watched the recording. He turned away and said quietly, Not failed. Awakened. They had seen enough. After Cole Ward escaped from Tersanine, the Veyron Council finally realized the truth. Humans were not to be studied. They were to be avoided. But fear is a strange thing. It doesn't bring peace. It brings questions. And questions are dangerous. In the center of the Veyron galaxy, the High Council sat in silence. The video of Cole tearing through a lab built to contain beasts was played again. Over and over. No one could look away. A single human, injured, half dead, fueled only by rage, had destroyed everything they trusted. Commander Zell stood before them. His voice was calm, but his eyes said something else. Fear. This is not healing, he told the council. It is evolution. Their pain is not a weakness. It is a weapon. One council member asked, Why do they grow stronger when harmed? No other species reacts this way. Zell paused. Because humans do not fear pain. They make pain fear them, the council voted. A new law was passed. One message was sent across the galaxy in all languages. No ship is allowed near Earth. No human is to be touched. Do not provoke the wounded ones. But some didn't listen. Far away, in a hidden military science outpost, a small group of rogue Veyron researchers ignored the warning. They believed fear was foolish. Power was the future. If humans could grow stronger from pain, maybe that power could be used. They built something new, a device called the Pain Engine, a machine that would simulate emotional and physical suffering without killing the subject. They believed if they could control the pain, they could control the evolution. They captured 4 more humans, all from different parts of Earth. Soldiers, prisoners, a firefighter. People who had already known loss, already carried scars. Inside the dark chambers of the outpost, the Pain Engine was activated. Each human was strapped into a separate pod. The machine didn't cut their skin or break bones. It did something worse. Showed them memories. 1 man relived the day he lost his daughter in a bombing. Another saw the battlefield again, where his best friend died in his arms. The woman, a firefighter named Lexi, was forced to hear her own screams from a burning building. The aliens watched. Heart rates climbed. Brain activity exploded. And then something changed. Lexi stopped crying. She opened her eyes and stared straight at the glass in front of her. Her lips moved. They checked the translation. She said, "Thank you for reminding me." The data screens glitched. Her body temperature rose. Her bones began to change shape, not broken, but restructured. Muscles tightened. Skin thickened. "She's adapting," one scientist whispered. "To memory." They tried to shut off the machine. Too late. The pod cracked. Lexi stepped out, silent, her hands glowing slightly red. Her voice was cold. "You showed me what I lost. Now I remember why I fight." Guards rushed in. Lexi dropped 3 with her bare hands. She wasn't moving fast. She wasn't screaming. She was just calm. That made it worse. At the same time, the other pods broke too. The 3 other humans stepped out. All different. All changed. One had claws where fingers used to be. Another had skin like armor. The last, the quietest one, just smiled and whispered, "I feel alive again." The aliens were trapped. This was not regeneration anymore. It was transformation. Back on the council world, reports came in. The rogue lab had gone dark. No signal. No survivors. XEL received a final recording from the outpost. Cracked and shaky. In the last seconds of the video, Lexi looked directly into the camera and said, "You wanted to learn what happens when you hurt us? Here's your answer." Then she walked away, through the smoke, with her team behind her. They weren't just humans anymore. They were Ragaburn. Word spread like a virus. Across the stars, alien species shared stories of humans who came back from war faster, stronger, and angrier than before. Pirates stopped attacking Earth ships. Galaxies began marking Earth as unapproachable. But the humans didn't hide. They trained. In underground labs back on Earth, secret government projects began. Not to protect humans from aliens, but to prepare them for the next time someone tried to study them. Maria Vasquez was there. Cole Ward was there. Lexi and the Ragaburn were now teachers, not soldiers. They were building something new. Not an army, a warning. Commander Zell returned to his homeworld. Standing on a cliff overlooking a quiet sea, his mind was loud. He remembered how calm humans looked before they broke free. He remembered their eyes. Not eyes of hate, but something deeper. Eyes that had seen too much. He knew the truth now. The danger of humans was never in their weapons or armies. It was in their hearts. Every scar, every loss, every betrayal, it didn't make them weaker. It made them ready. He turned to his assistant and spoke softly. "We thought we were the intelligent ones. But they are not driven by logic. They are driven by emotion. And emotion ... has no limit." The assistant asked, "What do we do now?" Zell didn't answer, because somewhere far away, a signal was picked up. A strange ship, not of alien design, was moving toward another Veyron colony, and it wasn't hiding. Its message was clear. We are not the victims. We are the response. Asterisk, they called them Ragaburn, not soldiers. Not monsters, something new. Something born from pain and built to answer it. After the destruction of the Pain Engine outpost, everything changed. The Veyron Council stopped arguing. They stopped pretending Earth was small or weak. Earth had evolved, and now Earth was building something. Commander Zell watched the incoming signals. New power levels. Satellites near Earth picked up strange energy, not nuclear, not plasma. Something never recorded before. Something alive, pulsing. He called it the spike field, not a weapon, a reaction. Whenever a Ragaburn entered combat, the field grew stronger, reacting to their emotions, echoing their anger. It confused Veyron scanners. Machines failed. Logic failed. Nothing made sense anymore. What is it? A scientist asked. XEL stared at the data. It's not a tool, it's a message. In a hidden human facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Lexi stood in a dark room. She had scars now, not just on her body, but on her soul. She wasn't angry anymore. She was focused. Around her stood the others, Cole Ward, Maria Vasquez, and 8 new Ragaburn candidates. They weren't like normal humans anymore. The experiments had changed them. Not just physically, but emotionally. They could feel each other's pain. And somehow use it. Lexi walked up to a large screen. A map of the galaxy lit up. Double quotes, see those red zones. She said, "Those are Veyron colonies, peaceful, quiet, just like they were when they kidnapped us." She looked at them all, one by one. No more waiting, no more hiding. We were experiments. Now we become evolution. Cole stepped forward. "Are you saying we're going to war?" Lexi didn't blink. "No, we're going to introduce ourselves." A ship was launched from Earth, not a military battleship. A modified exploration craft, now upgraded with unknown human tech created during the Pain Engine experiments. Its name was Spite 1. Inside it, the Ragaburn prepared. Each one had a different ability now. Lexi could amplify anger into physical force. Her punches could break steel. Cole's body hardened with every hit he took. The more he was attacked, the stronger he became. Maria's nerves had been restructured. She could sense lies, feel threats, and read movements like a sixth sense. And the newest among them, a young man named Darren, had a strange gift. When he was hurt, those around him healed faster. He was pain-made generous. The Spite 1 reached the first Veyron colony, Neural 5, a peaceful trade hub, no weapons. No defenses. The humans didn't attack. They landed, and they walked. When the Veyron saw them coming, they ran. Not because the Ragaburn were killing anyone, but because they were calm. Lexi carried a flag, not of Earth, but of a new symbol. A red mark shaped like a scar. It meant, "We remember." The Veyron governor of the colony sent a message to the High Council. "They're not here for war. They're here to show us what we did, and to prove they survived it." Back on the Spite 1, Cole sat quietly in the dark. Maria walked in. "You okay?" He nodded. "Just thinking. We didn't come here to destroy them. We came to show them what they created." Maria leaned against the wall. "And if they try to stop us?" Cole opened his hand. Sparks of red energy danced across his fingers. "Then we teach them why you don't touch a species that grows stronger from pain." The Veyron Council fell into panic. "How do we stop them?" One leader shouted, "They're not attacking us, they're visiting." Zell stood up. His voice was louder than usual. "Then listen. That is the attack." Everyone turned to him. "They are not killing. They are hunting. Every colony they step on changes. Fear grows. People leave. Our systems fail. We're crumbling from the inside, and they haven't fired a single weapon." Weeks passed. The Ragaburn visited 5 more colonies, left without hurting anyone. But each time they came, the colonies collapsed. Veyron stopped working. Trade broke. Security forces abandoned their posts. A single scar on the wall, the red mark, was enough to end operations. The Veyrons didn't fear human violence. They feared human memory. In deep space, something else awakened, a different alien race. The Drosari had been watching. A brutal species that believed in strength over peace. They saw the Veyrons retreating and thought, if the humans scare the Veyrons, maybe they can be used. The Drosari contacted the Ragaburn. "Join us," they said. "Together we can rule." Lexi replied with just one sentence. "You misunderstand us. We don't want to rule. We want to remind." Then she shut the channel. The Drosari responded the only way they knew, by launching an attack. A fleet of 20 ships entered the sector. They expected resistance. They expected a fight. They got something worse. Silence. One ship went missing, then 2, then 3. No battle. No explosion. Just reports from panicked soldiers. "They're all ready," On board, they're not using weapons, they're using us. One Dressari captain sent a final transmission. They let us shoot them, and then they laughed. Every wound makes them faster. Every hit makes them smarter. We didn't fight an enemy. We built one. Back on Earth, more Ragaburn were awakening. Not because of alien tech now, but because of pain shared between humans. A movement was spreading. People didn't fear being hurt anymore. They used it. They wore scars like medals. Children who had survived disasters showed signs of accelerated strength. Old war veterans were healing from decades-old wounds. The Earth was changing, not because of science, not because of emotion. Because finally, pain had a purpose. The Spite One returned home. Lexi looked down at Earth from orbit. Cole stood beside her. "You think they'll ever try to take us again?" he asked. Lexi smiled softly. "They won't need to." He looked confused. "Why?" She turned to him, eyes glowing faint red. "Because now, they know we're coming." Asterisk, the first time a human ship appeared in Veyron-controlled space, it did not cloak. It did not sneak. It announced itself. The name broadcast in every direction, through every frequency. Spite One. A name now whispered across the galaxy. Not as a threat, but as a warning. Inside the ship, Ragaburn leaders sat in silence. Not because they feared battle, but because they knew it would not be needed. Fear was already there, growing like a shadow. Lexi stood before the mission crew. She had changed again. Her skin was lined with faint glowing marks, scars that pulsed softly with her heartbeat. Not from injury. From memory. "We are not here to destroy planets," she said. Voice calm. "We are here to make the universe remember what they did." She turned to a new face. A young man barely 20. His name was Elias. He had survived a colony bombing and lost both parents. Since then, his body had been adapting faster than anything seen before. "Do you know what this mission is?" Lexi asked him. Elias nodded slowly. "To prove humanity is not prey." "No," she said. "To prove we never were." The Veyron colony of Xandril was one of their proudest cities. Floating above a silver ocean, it shimmered like a crystal in the void. It was not a military base. It was a symbol of culture, progress, pride, which made it the perfect place for a visit. Spite One entered orbit. No weapons activated. No demands were made. And yet, every ship in the sky fled. Governor Thrall of Xandril stood at the center of the command tower, trembling. "They've arrived," his aide whispered. "They aren't doing anything." "That's the problem," Thrall replied. Down below, Lexi and the Ragaburn exited their ship. No armor, no weapons. Just the red scar symbol glowing on their clothes. Aliens watched from behind windows, from rooftops, from surveillance drones, waiting. Lexi walked through the streets like a tourist, looking, observing. Elias followed closely, scanning the architecture. "They build so beautifully," Elias whispered. Lexi nodded. "Because they've never had to rebuild what they lost." She stopped at a monument in the city center, a tall white spire that represented peace through knowledge. Maria stepped forward and pulled out a metal coin. She placed it at the base of the spire. On it, etched in human language, was a phrase, "You taught us pain. We turned it into purpose. No violence, no speech." Just that. The Ragaburn left the city quietly, leaving the coin behind. And yet, within hours, the colony began to fall apart. The citizens of Xandril no longer felt safe. And when safety is broken, civilization starts to crack. Back on Spite One, Cole sat with Elias in the ship's mess hall. "You handled the first drop well," Cole said. "I thought we'd have to fight," Elias replied. Cole chuckled. "We already are. We're just fighting. With fear now. And they're losing." Elias looked down. "Is this right?" "What do you mean?" "We're making them scared, all of them, even the innocent ones." Cole sighed. "We didn't start this." But if they feel what we felt, even for a moment, maybe they'll understand. And maybe they'll stop others before it happens again. He stood and looked out the window, watching Xandril shrink in the distance. They didn't expect us to survive. But we didn't just survive, we adapted. That's what they never understood. News of the Xandril visit spread fast out other alien races, who had once mocked humans as emotional, reckless creatures, now watched Earth with unease. The Drosari, still recovering from their failed ambush, warned others. They don't just evolve. They learn from every enemy, every wound, every betrayal. And they never forget. The Galactic Councils began using a new term, Invasion Protocol, Humanity. It was not a war strategy. It was a survival guide. Elsewhere, deep in the Outer Rim, an old race watched everything unfold, the Athari. Ancient, silent beings who had seen stars born and die. They had never interfered with other species. Until now. An Athari observer sent a message to Earth. It was only 6 words. You are not what we expected. The humans sent back only 4. Neither were you. The Athari chose silence after that. They understood. Inside Spite 1, something strange was happening. Elias had begun having dreams. But they weren't just images, they were shared memories. Of pain he'd never experienced. Of loss he'd never lived. He saw a man screaming in fire, Lexi's past. He saw Cole standing alone in a trench, broken and smiling. He saw a young girl crying under rubble, reaching for her mother's hand. When he woke, his body ached. But his strength had doubled. The Ragaburn were evolving again. Together. No longer isolated. They were becoming connected. Pain was no longer personal. It was collective. On the ship's bridge, Maria stared at a star map. We're being watched, she said. Lexi nodded. Let them. Should we go home? Maria asked. Lexi smiled faintly. Earth isn't home anymore. Not for us. We are Earth now. Where to next? Lexi pressed her hand against the screen, marking a Veyron science station that once held hundreds of human DNA samples. Some things need to be returned. That night, Elias stood in his chamber, looking into the mirror. His body was stronger now. His skin shimmered faint red. But it wasn't the power that scared him. It was the calm. He wasn't angry. He wasn't sad. He was just ready. He finally understood what Lexi meant. They weren't here for revenge. They were here for memory. To mark every system, every star, every species with one truth. Do not wound the ones who feel. Because they will rise, and they will remember. Asterisk, they called it the Spite engine. Not a machine, not a weapon. Not even alive in the way scientists understood life. But it pulsed. It breathed. It felt. It was born in silence, under a scorched mountain in Earth's dead zone, buried far from cities, far from government, far from questions. Only the Ragaburn knew it existed, and only the broken ones could power it. Lexi stood inside the core chamber, her breath visible in the frozen air. Red lights pulsed from the walls, slow at first, like a heartbeat trying to remember its rhythm. It's responding again, Maria said beside her, watching the stream of data scroll across the floating holograms. Cole stepped forward. What's it showing? Maria hesitated. Pain memory. From over 400 humans, some of them already dead. Cole flinched. Then how is it still reading them? Lexi didn't look away from the engine. Because pain doesn't die, it echoes. They didn't build the Spite engine with metal. It grew from human tissue, from shattered nanotech, from recovered Veyron psychic scanners. It was part living organism, part ancient revenge, and part mystery. It absorbed human emotion like a sponge. Rage, loss, humiliation, betrayal. It didn't just store it. It used it. Each time a Ragaburn entered the chamber, the engine reacted. It learned, and it evolved. Elias, now stronger than any other Ragaburn, had become its anchor. When he stepped into the core, The walls turned red-hot. He didn't scream. He smiled, because inside the pain was clarity. Earth's leaders had mixed opinions about the engine. Some feared it. Some wanted to destroy it, but it was too late. The Spite engine had already become part of the planet's energy network, part of the Ragaburn biology, part of Earth's new identity. A symbol. No, more than that, a question. What happens when a species learns to weaponize its own suffering? Far away, in a hidden research ship orbiting a cold moon, a Veyron scientist named Dro watched the signals coming from Earth. He had once been part of the Pain Engine project, the one that had captured humans. That had triggered all of this. He was the last survivor, and he was terrified. He saw the Spite engine's pulse reach out through space, not as an attack, but as a presence. It was being felt across systems. Alien technology malfunctioned. Psychic sensors overloaded. Creatures with emotional sensitivity began collapsing from exposure to the signals. "We hurt them," Drell whispered. "And now they're turning that pain into power." The Galactic Council of Neutral Species met in emergency session. "Do we engage?" asked a robotic intelligence from the Tsari race. "No," answered the Athari delegate, a being made of light and gravity. "You don't engage fire when it becomes the sun. What is the Spite engine?" Someone asked. XEL was present this time. Older now, quieter. Change. He spoke only once. "It is the answer to every pain we ever gave them." Back on Earth, Lexi stood in the center of the chamber, staring into the core. The engine pulsed brighter than ever. It spoke, not in words, but in memory. She saw her childhood, her mother's death, the explosion, the fire, her hands reaching through smoke, her screams. Then she saw Elias's past, the rubble, the empty dinner table, the quiet grief, then Cole's, and Maria's, and others. She dropped to her knees and cried, not because it hurt, but because it all still lived inside her. That's when she understood. The Spite engine wasn't powered by pain. It was powered by the refusal to forget. Elias approached her, eyes glowing red with faint static around his skin. He wasn't the same boy from weeks ago. The Spite engine had shaped him, inside and out. "You okay?" he asked. Lexi nodded slowly. "I know what we have to do now." She stood and pressed her palm to the Spite engine surface. "Give us access to memory-level targeting," she said. The chamber flashed. The floor lit up with glowing scars, neural maps of entire alien colonies, linked to past war crimes, hidden experiments, covered-up torture projects. Maria whispered, "You're not going to destroy them, are you?" Lexi looked into the pulsing light. "No," she said. "We're going to make them feel what we felt." One by one, colonies across the galaxy began receiving strange signals. Not attacks, not viruses. Just emotion. Sudden waves of grief, pain, loss, guilt. Aliens fell to their knees, crying without knowing why. Entire cities shut down. Security forces turned on their commanders. Children began drawing red scars in the dirt without knowing what it meant. One Drosari warlord screamed for the pain to stop, punching through his own command console, only to find an image carved into the steel beneath it. "You showed us what pain feels like. Now we show you what it means." Meanwhile, the Spite engine continued growing. It began to speak. Not in sound, in feeling. Each Ragaburn could now sense the emotional state of others, not just humans. Aliens, animals, even AI systems began transmitting subconscious emotion signals. Pain became language. Memory became a map. Earth became the most emotionally connected planet in existence. But something else happened that even Lexi didn't expect. A few alien ships approached Earth. Not to fight. To surrender. Not with white flags, but with open minds. "We want to understand," they said. "Teach us how you did this." Lexi stood in the ash-covered hills outside the Spite engine's mountain. She watched the stars, listened. to the pulse of the world below, then said quietly, "You want to understand humanity? Then first, survive what we survived." Asterisk, they came in peace. This time. It wasn't a lie. A small alien vessel, older than any known model, drifted through Earth's orbit, quiet as a heartbeat. No weapons, no signals. Just a single message blinking through the static. "I am alone. Please don't be angry." The ship carried one passenger. A child, not human, not a soldier. Just a small Veyron, 12 cycles old. Weak in body, fragile in voice. His name was Jurek. Earth didn't fire. They didn't scramble jets. They didn't send the Ragaburn. Instead, the ship was guided down gently to a field outside the ruins of what was once Denver, Colorado, now regrown with wildflowers, tall grass, and the quiet hum of windmills. The boy stepped out, holding nothing but a tattered white cloth with a hand-drawn symbol, the red scar of the Ragaburn. He had drawn it himself because he had felt it ever since the spite engine activated. Children across the galaxy had been waking up with echoes, memories that weren't theirs, emotions they didn't live through, fears they didn't understand. Jirek was one of them. And he had come because he wanted to know the truth. Moment he stepped on Earth, the spite engine pulsed softly, not in warning but in recognition. The pain within him was real. Elias met him first. He didn't wear armor. He didn't glow. He just knelt in the tall grass and looked the alien child in the eyes. Jirek spoke quietly. "I see faces in my dreams. Your faces, and fire, and tears, and screaming." Elias nodded. "That's where we came from. Why did you let me land?" Elias smiled faintly. "Because maybe you're the one who listens." Jurek looked down. "They told me humans don't forgive." Elias stood up, placed a hand on his shoulder. "We don't forget," he said. "But that doesn't mean we don't teach." In the days that followed, the child was not tested. He was not examined. He was welcomed. He saw children playing near the base of the spite engine's mountain. He watched veterans training quietly, scarred bodies stronger than steel. He met Cole Ward, who told him a story without speaking, a memory transmitted through touch, a field of bodies, a scream, a hand reaching through fire, and then the quiet rise of something that could never be burned again. He met Maria, who taught him how to close his eyes and listen to the world's emotions, birdsong joy, river sadness, mountain silence. And then he met Lexi. She sat alone near the spite engines heart. The room was dark, quiet, not pulsing this time, not glowing, just still. "I thought it would be bigger," Jurek said. Lexi looked up. "It doesn't have to be." Jurek walked closer. "Why did you build it?" Lexi didn't answer right away. She touched the side of the engine, smooth, warm like skin. "I didn't build it," she said. "We needed it, so it came." Jurek sat beside her, cross-legged. "Can you make it stop?" She looked down at him. "We don't control it. It controls us only if we lie about what we feel." The child hesitated, then asked, "Can you show me how it started?" Lexi raised an eyebrow. "It hurts, I know," Jurek whispered. "But I want to know the truth." She nodded, and reached out her hand, when he touched her palm. The room vanished. He saw flames. He felt shaking ground. He heard sirens, then screams. Then nothing. Cold. Buried. Alone. He saw her crawl through rubble. A girl no older than he was. Bloody. Hungry. Half deaf. Holding onto her mother's burned hand. Then. Letting go. The connection broke. Jurek fell backward, gasping. "I'm sorry," he cried. "I didn't know. I didn't know." Lexi stood calmly. "That's why the spite engine was born. Not for revenge, for reminders." Later that night, Jurek stood outside, staring at the stars. He felt everything differently now. Every breeze, every shadow, every heartbeat inside his chest. They were not enemies. They were echoes. The pain of a species that refused to go extinct. Not by force, not by cruelty, not even by silence. Lexi joined him under the stars. Are you afraid now? She asked. He shook his head. Not of you. She tilted her head. Then of what? He looked up. Of what we've done. Of what I felt. Lexi looked at the sky, and then said the words she had never spoken aloud before. We never wanted to be gods. We just didn't want to die without meaning. The next morning, Jurek left. No escort. No threat. Just a message in his hands, given to him by the Rageborn. Not for governments. Not for war. For children. It read. Pain will visit you. But you do not have to become it. You can become more. If you remember us. Years passed. The galaxy slowly returned to rhythm. The Ragaburn stopped traveling. They didn't need to. Their silence had become loud enough. But their symbol remained, carved into steel, scratched onto walls, tattooed into skin across thousands of systems. A single red scar, not a mark of violence, but a promise. Jirek grew. He became a leader. Not of a planet, of a generation, one that remembered what the adults tried to forget. The humans. The pain, and the warning. On the 20th anniversary of the Spite Engine's birth, a new message pulsed from Earth. One sentence. No code. No encryption. Just this. Don't make us feel again. Because now the galaxy knew. Humans did not evolve from strength. They evolved from sorrow, from scars, from spite. And if you hurt them again, they wouldn't just fight. They would rise.